Welcome to The Tipping Point. Listen in to this bite-sized learning series as part of the Vacation Rental Success podcast, or watch the video version on the Vacation Rental Formula Business School's YouTube channel. This episode is brought to you by the Vacation Rental Formula Business School All Access Pass that gives you access to all our current short-term rental business courses and all courses to come in the future for one low price. Don't miss out on this opportunity to guarantee your learning today and your success tomorrow. For a limited time, get 25% off this one-time price as a learner of The Tipping Point. Visit the link in the description of this episode for more information. Get ready to fire up your business. Here's your host, Heather Bayer.
Welcome to another episode of The Tipping Point, the podcast series that helps experienced hosts take their short-term rental property management to the next level. I'm your host, Heather Bayer, and today we're diving into the topic of the guest experience, the first 10 minutes. As we all know, first impressions are crucial when it comes to creating a memorable guest experience. Those initial moments can really set the tone for the entire stay. So in this episode, we're going to explore some action points to make those first 10 minutes perfect for your guests. For the purposes of this, I'm assuming that you've already set the stage for your guest's arrival. And by that, I mean they have accurate directions, they know when the grocery and liquor store closes, which is really important, and you've maybe offered to stock the fridge for them if they arrive after that. I do mention that specifically because I had an experience in Eleuthera some years ago of our flight being delayed and arriving after the stores were closed. We then missed a crucial turning to the property because the directions mentioned a right turn instead of a left and we got lost. So once we finally arrived, anything the owners had done to make the first 10 minutes perfect was already impacted by the stress of crying kids and adults who knew they weren't going to have a cold beer to start their vacation. In fact, the owners hadn't really considered the first impression at all because when we got to the house, the key wasn't where it was supposed to be. So we got in through an open back door, fortunately. All of the blinds were drawn and it was really dark inside and really hot and humid. And after we'd fumbled for the light switch, we had to find the AC controls. Clearly not a good start. And even after 10 years now, I still remember that arrival experience more than I recall the vacation. So before you even think about what impression your guests will have at your place, make sure they're going to be in the right frame of mind to appreciate it when they arrive. Okay, so having set the stage, we're going to start off by taking a look at the entrance to the property. Most owners pay so much attention to the interior, they forget that your guests are going to stand on the porch looking around while somebody's trying to get the door opened or looking for a key. So it's really important to get this one right. The next time you go to your place, pay a lot of attention to this area because a tidy entrance sets the stage for a positive first impression. This means a clean door and a polished door handle. Sounds simple, right? But many folks miss this one. And it really does show attention to detail, as does cleaning off any spider webs around the door frame. So consider adding a welcome mat. Potted plants or a tub of herbs is really quite nice because it can give off quite a nice aroma. These are the things that can make a huge difference when these folks are standing on the doorstep. Of course, it's tougher if your place is in an apartment building where you don't have any control over the approach and entrance. I've been to plenty of condo buildings where the elevators aren't clean, the stairwells are particularly dark, and then the apartment numbers are really confusingly marked, and it all contributes to a less than stellar arrival. So if your place is in such a building, think about how you can create a better first impression for your guests on their arrival. I want to talk next about getting in because this one caused us a lot of issues over the years in our property management company. On a busy Saturday in the summer, we might have over 100 families checking in around 4 p.m. and we were almost guaranteed to have at least 5% with an access issue. We didn't have the same locks across all our properties. And I know that some property management companies are very fortunate to have this and they control the codes from dashboard in the office, and that would be fantastic. We didn't have that. We had some properties that had keys under mats. We had some properties with independent little school locker type lock boxes. And then we had others that had got a bit more automated with fully automated lock boxes. But we still had those access issues. And the last thing you want on a rainy check-in day is to have a problem with a lock and a family on the doorstep really being super upset. So give special attention to the code you've set. Ensure the guests have the right one. And if your cleaning team are changing a lockbox number, make sure they double and triple check it so that they've got the right one. So it really is worthwhile checking on that. If you have an automatic lock with a battery, don't ever risk that draining because it will usually happen when no one is in the area or it's freezing or searing outside. Okay, so now they've opened the door, they've walked in, and now you want all their senses to be engaged. You want to make sure that the temperature has been adjusted to a comfortable level and be aware of how the place smells. A disinfectant smell doesn't offer a welcoming element. The place actually needs to smell naturally fresh. It's got to look clean and welcoming. And if it's dark out, the lights should be on. If it's daylight and you've got a perfect view they'll see on arrival, have the shades open. Have some music playing. If you've found out their particular taste in music, and there's ways to do that before they arrive, then play that. Or play local music. I recall arriving in Nassau for my first visit to the Bahamas, and there was a steel band in the arrivals hall. It really set the tone for the vacation. And then I mentioned the AC or the heat. It's got to be cozy and warm for a winter arrival and cool for the heat of the summer. Don't ask your guests to be uncomfortable for even a moment while they wait for the temperature to adjust. I'd mentioned the smell. I'm particularly sensitive to odours, and the two smells I hate when walking into a vacation rental are the musty damp one and any smell of disinfectant. I had an owner once tell me that they had their cleaner leave the toilet bowls full of disinfectant before they left, so the guests would be able to smell and see that they'd been cleaned. Do you know, there's so many better ways of getting this across. And please don't use air fresheners or chemical sprays. More and more people are sensitive to these, and it can have a really unpleasant impact on them. There's plenty of natural fresheners. I use baking soda and essential oils in my places that are just hidden out of sight. Then don't forget the taste sense. I've been to places where we've been left a gift of fresh local strawberries, maple syrup, homemade scones. There was a bowl of, if I remember, tropical fruit in Costa Rica. And in England, a fridge loaded with eggs, bacon, and sausage for the following morning breakfast. These all really had a wow appeal. So your guests have got in, you've assaulted all their senses. The next thing they're looking for is a Wi-Fi password. And that has to be easy to find. Don't hide it away in the back pages of a welcome book or even just accessible in a digital guide. You want to make sure they can find that really easily, maybe in a Perspex card holder right on a kitchen counter where it's one of the first things they see. Then they're probably going to want to put their devices on charge before they explore the rest of the place. So make sure you've got a dedicated charging space because that's going to be really welcome. They're not having to look around under couches and at the back of chairs to find a socket to plug their chargers into. So your next wow should be a handwritten welcome note or a personalized message on a chalkboard or whiteboard. And if you include their names, you can add 10 stars to your wow count because they will love that. When I arrive at a short-term rental, I explore the kitchen first. Firstly, to make sure there's a kettle for my first cup of tea. Then I check the cupboards to see what's supplied for my week of cooking and to make sure there's plenty of space to put all my stuff. So I'm looking for plenty of cookware, utensils, and glasses, as well as some decent-sized coffee mugs. It's one of the first things I go looking for. So moving on, if your guests haven't chosen their rooms prior to arriving, based on a video walkthrough or a combination of photos and a floor plan, this is what they're going to do next. And hopefully you've tried as best you can to make the accommodation all equally appealing and attractive, so no one feels they've pulled the short straw. Okay, they've now explored, they're ready for the first drink before unpacking and getting settled in. There should be cold water available, bottles in the fridge or a water dispenser, and ice cube trays if there's no ice maker. Just these tiny things can make such a difference in that oh so vital first impression. Remember, these first 10 minutes are crucial for creating a positive guest experience. And by implementing these action points, you'll not only set the stage for an exceptional stay, but also increase the likelihood of positive reviews and repeat bookings. Okay, so for more on the first 10 minutes and how you can make it even more special, go to the link below in the description and check out our complete course on creating the best first impression. If you're listening to this on the podcast, go to the link on the show notes and that will take you to the same place. Trust me, it's really worthwhile paying a lot of attention to it and getting your housekeeping staff to do it as well. The payback is way more than your time and effort spent in getting it right. Well, that wraps up today's episode of The Tipping Point. I hope you found these tips helpful and are ready to put them into action. Stay tuned for more episodes with fun and informative training for short-term rental property management. And until next time, happy hosting.
We hoped you enjoyed this episode of The Tipping Point. Don't forget to take advantage of the limited time offer of 25% off the Vacation Rental Formula Business School's All Access Pass. Click the link in the description of this episode for more information.